Hello, my name is Delaney Morris. I'm a graduate student at Iowa State University in the Department of Community and Regional Planning. I'm coming to you today to explain the poster that you see before you. I've had the pleasure of working with my teammates in GeoGames as well as my professor, and we wanted to create an initiative that took on sustainable transportation. And doing this, we wanted to engage people and make them aware of why this is important. And we also wanted to create a fun factor. So we wanted to use gaming as a methodology to educate people on sustainable transportation. And it also has a civic engagement piece to it. In the beginning of the game, a player will choose a character. That character is given a home on a map. And the player is also giving 5 errands to run within a set amount of time. The next thing that a player will have to do is decide which one of those places. So for example, you might have the mall, the hospital, school, the grocery store, and a nightclub. The player then decides which place he wants to go first. Once he decides that, he then has to choose what mode of transportation he thinks will be most efficient in getting to his destination and running that errand. Once he does that, he then has to roll a die to see if there are any random factors that happens during his trip. So for example, there are 4 modes of transportation: busing, walking, biking, and car. If a player decides that he wants to go to the mall, he could choose, for example, the bus. The player would then roll the die to see if a random event happened. Now, on this die, there are 4 green sides and 2 red sides. I'm sorry. Now, on this die, there are 2 red sides, Now on this die, there are 2 green sides and 4 red sides. And the reason that we made the probability that strong for a random event to happen is just to keep the player engaged in the game and also to educate them on their different decisions that they could make. So if I chose to take the bus to the mall, I would then roll the die to see if something random happens on the bus. If it lands on a green side, that means that I've made it to my destination. Okay, I've made it back home and nothing happened and I can move on to the next destination. If it lands on the red side, that means that a random factor happened. At this time, the player will then randomly choose a random factor card and read the card. The card may say something like the bus is late. The card may say that you've met a friend on the bus. So all of the random factors aren't negative. Most of them are positive in terms of the bus or biking. And that's just to encourage the player to choose those options more so than they would a car. Now, at the end of the game, after the player has gone to all 5 of his destinations, then his points will be tabulated. The point system was derived by coming up with an algorithm that would incorporate all of the factors of the game. So there are different factors for bus, car, driving, and walking. So the factors that we wanted to take into consideration was fuel use, pollution, calories burned, whether the player is male or female, and the amount of time that it took for the player to complete that task. Now the point system is quite complex, but it's easy for the player to understand. So at the end of the game, the player will get an overall score. That score will either be a gold star, a silver star, or a bronze star. The player is also given a list of the decisions that he's made throughout the game. So for example, if you end up at the end of the game being a bronze star, but you really want to know how to improve your score, then you have direct feedback. You see every decision that you've made and how it impacted your score. This is the case so that for the next round, the player has the option to go back, play the game again, and improve his score. Some of the things that we noticed that were important were that people really enjoyed the random factors throughout the game. More so than the positive ones, they actually really enjoy the negative ones. And these are the ones that I think really teach a lesson. Earning a friend on a bus is a good thing, and people are excited about that. But being late for the bus and missing the bus teaches the person a whole nother lesson, and they have to reevaluate their decisions and decide then once again, well, how do I get to my destination most efficiently on time, when I'm supposed to be there. The next steps that we have for the game is that we want to make it completely digital. We want to make it for mobile devices in the form of an app. We also want to make the game broader, over a broader spectrum. So for the visuals in the game, we chose to use places and landmarks that are in the city in which our university is in. For future developments in the game, we would like to make the game more universal so that people can play all over the country of the United States and all over the world. So, for example, if I chose to use the city of Chicago for our next game, then I might use images such as the Cubs Stadium or the Digital Bean. These things help people relate to their surroundings, and they also keep people more engaged. I feel like when they can relate to what they see, they find it more important. Thank you so much for your time and this opportunity. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email me at kdmorris@iastate.edu. Thank you again.